desktop, all right? Very clean, very organized. Everything has folders here. You can see there's not a bunch of random designs and notes. And I know that's hard in a busy shop setting. I've been there. I've had extremely messy desktops before, and like I said, it just is gonna kill so much of your time. So I always name a folder on the desktop embroidery files or digitized files, whatever you want to name this folder that makes sense to you, just name it that. So I always name mine embroidery files. I'm going to click into my embroidery files. And as you can see here, I got 4 different companies here. We got Sebspeed Customs, we got some Talk Tuning, Steel, and then we got S&S Cycle. So I'm going to walk through a few of the different setups I have in here. They're all pretty much the same. A couple of them have a little bit more or less. Like I said, this is a good template for you to kind of take this and run with it. So let's load up the Steel logo here. In that folder, I have a chest and hat. So this company only has a chest logo and a hat design, right? If they came back later and they had a forearm design or a back design, I would add another folder in here that just says, you know, back. That way I know that these are just back files. I'm not going to mix up putting a back file on a left chest. I mean, that would probably be pretty hard to mix up, but just in case, everything is nice and organized and easy to access and makes sense. You can name these whatever you want. Some people, you know, put left chest, or they put so on and so forth. You could break it down: left chest, right chest designs, left arm, right arm, what have you. I just keep mine kind of all in one chest. I'll go in there and I usually mark down what location it's going. Let's click into this hat folder here. So as we can see, we got Steel chainsaw and we got a Steel log logo. Every time I get a new file in from that customer, I will come in here and I will add another folder in here with the new logo. So say it's the Steel forest logo, okay? I would add that subfolder, and this is where I would go in and I'd load all my other files. So let's check out the Steel log logo here. If I double click into this, you can see I have digitizer files subfolder up here, and then I have a Steel log, and then I have a run sheet here. So my process, what I do is I will get the logo in from my digitizer. I'm using Q digitizing on here. Steve and his team do an excellent job. They're set up for native OFM. They use Design Shop, and their files are beautiful all the time. So Steve sent me a file. I downloaded it off of his website. I brought it into my Design Shop, and I added in my colorways, right? So there's not much I need to do there. Check out the file, add in my colorways, and then I save my OFM. So that's going to be my run file. So I set in the colors that I wanted, and then I saved it into this folder. So that's what this file is right here. On top of that, I always print myself a run sheet, which you can do in Design Shop as well. I go to the print and I put print as PDF, and I always save that right along, name it the same thing as that file, and I save it right along with there. What that's going to help you with is your production. So when that order comes in, what you can do is you can print off that run sheet and staple it to your work order and put it on your box of products. So that way your operator can come in, grab that box, they see, all right, here's my colorways that I need to do. I'm going to go set those up on my machine, and then I'm going to run this order. It's just simplifying everything. Your production is going to be faster, and you're going to leave way less room for error. So the easiest we can make it on operators and yourself, that's what we want to do, right? Some production efficiency. So here's my Steel log logo, my OFM, and here's that run sheet. Now up here in digitizer files, you could say this whatever you want. Digitizer files makes sense to me. What that folder is the original files that were sent from my digitizer. So in this case, it was Q digitizing. I downloaded everything. So in here, I have the subfolders as well. So here, let's go to our Steel log hat. And in here, you can see this is the original OFM file that Q digitizing sent me. This is the DST. This is the JPEG, which is an actual sew out of your logo. They do a really great job. They sew it out. You can see the picture of it, how it's sewing. It shows the size on the side with the rulers. It's a really nice thing. You could even use this as a proof if you really wanted to with your customers. I prefer to actually proof it on the garment that it's going. So I will load in the hat into Photoshop and add that actual digitized file on there, send it off to the customer as proofed. And then down here is their run sheet, which is going to vary from your run sheet because you're going to load it into into Design Shop, and you're going to put in the Madeira colors that you want, right? Like when they send it, it's just whatever colors they think are closest match. So take all that with a grain of salt. And so this is the original digitized files. The reason I do that is, say something got corrupted in, you know, my OFM that I created, or somebody got deleted out or something like that. You at least have this folder where you can go back, bring it in, and then you can add the colors again. So it's just a good kind of fail safe here. I can't talk today apparently. And on top of that proofing thing, like I said, they have the sew out. What I will do is with this order, so before you run that, you're going to proof it to your customer anyways. I would bring in my last proof that I sent to the customer, and I would load it in here with these files. So you'll have your OFM, your run file. You're going to have your your run sheet here, and then I usually put the proof right down below. So when that customer comes back in later and they say, hey, I want same as last time, you can grab this proof out of here and you can send it to them. On that note as well, when I'm using my QuickBooks or whatever point of sale that you're using, when I make up my sales order, at the bottom of that, so you'll put, you know, your 12 auto caps on there, right? Colorway. And then I put below that in my QuickBooks, I will put steel log logo or something that you can reference back to. That way, you know, it's 2 years later and they come back and they're like, I loved what you did last time. Let's do that file again. Well, I mean, you've already dealt with hundreds of other customers and files at that point. You can go back into your QuickBooks. You can say, all right, this was done March of last year. And right there in your notes, you have 12 auto caps. And then you have it saved, you know, steel log logo. That works out really, really well. So that's a little added thing that I would do on top of organizing these files, is really organize out your QuickBooks or whatever point of sale that you're using on your sales orders and put down what logo was ran on there. So when that order comes in, I print off that sales order. I staple my run sheet to the back of there. So now that operator can see, all right, I got 12 auto caps here. They're red and white. I have the steel log logo. They flip it over. They see that run sheet. And all right, there's the steel log logo. Here's all my colors. Load them on my machine. I'm going to get everything running. So file management, just doing these couple steps here, just really speeds up your production. It's going to take a little bit more time in the beginning. I mean, you got to take 10 minutes of your time, sit down, set up the colors, save all your PDF run sheets and stuff like that. But from there on out, it's just quick and efficient. So let's go back here, and I'm going to show you this SNS cycle. So one of the other things that I do with my file management is, say the customer has a couple different colorways for their logo, right? For this one logo. So I'm going to click in there. They only have a hat logo. And in here I can see it's the SNS logo. So I'm going to click into SNS logo. Once again, we have our digitizer files. So this is the original files that were sent to me from the digitizer. And then I have another subfolder of dark garment and light garment. So if we click in the light garment, you can see here's the SNS logo, and here's my run sheet. When I save the run sheet, I usually change my background color to like black or whatever the dark color is. Usually I use black and white so that I can see on that sheet, all right, this was the dark garment colorway. And then for the light garment colorway, I change my background in Design Shop when I'm saving my run sheet to a white colorway. That way, no mix up. You know, your operator can see the differences. All right, well, I accidentally grabbed, this says dark logo or dark colorway, and I grabbed the white logo. So you could change these out so the names say, you know, SNS logo, light colorway. I just keep them in these separate subfolders here. Boom, I grab them and I'm good to go. So that's kind of a walkthrough on how I save my files here. The subfolders really help. You're keeping everything in one folder and organized. Now, it's really crucial to not just save everything on your PC here. So when you're creating all these files, set up a cloud service or a server or what have you. You know, Google Cloud and all that stuff is super, super cheap for a year. That way you can load up all your files up there. So if a PC crashes or something like that, you're not just sitting there dead in the water. You can go and retrieve your files, put them on a new PC, and run them there. Some people don't even save any of them on the PC. You just click into your server or your cloud and you download it right from there. That way, other people, you know, say you have one person doing artwork and you have your embroidery operator and you have, you know, digitizer or whatever, everybody can kind of communicate back and forth in the cloud with each other just seamlessly, and it works really, really nice. So set up a proof folder, all that good stuff. But this route works. I also save all my logos on an external hard drive that I don't keep hooked up to the computer. So with that, that's pretty much the walkthrough on how I organize my files. I'm going to show you a little bit of the Q Digitizing website too, because back when I started doing this, it wasn't great on the digitizing websites. They didn't have the options that they do now. And on that note too, what's great about the Melco software is that we're driven by the computer. So when you save a file, you can save this name to whatever makes sense to you. So, you know, SNS logo, you can save this as many characters that you want, and it's gonna make sense. Back when I started, we had a conventional machine. I was also running some red and white Amayas. So on that conventional machine, we only had like 7 characters that we could use. It was just an absolute nightmare. I had like the postcards with the run information in a drawer, and then I had to do that, and then you had to name it like SNS logo. So it would be SNS, LO, and then you'd add like LC for like left chest or hat back or any of that. It just got super confusing. It was like the Da Vinci Code. You're sitting there, you're trying to decipher it, and it's just not making sense to anybody, and just pure chaos. So really nice about Melco is that we can save whatever we want and as many as we want on the computer. So you're not limited by, all right, I can only put 5 designs loaded into here. You just click on here and you add them real quick. I'm gonna stop sharing this screen, and I'm gonna go to the Q Digitizing website and just show you what we have for another backup plan here. So if I stop sharing this, share my screen again, we go to the Q Digitizing website. Let's go back real quick. So you can see the website's laid out really nice. You got embroidery digitizing, you got your vector art, patches, all of that. So Steve and his team have just done a wonderful job on this website, making it flow really seamlessly and easy for the user. So if I go over here to my order archive, I can see digitizing complete orders. Click on that screen. Hey, there's my steel logo. There's SNS Cycle. Here's some Merle Haggard for you. But yeah, you can click on here and you can go to download files. You can view orders. And this is another fail-safe. So now you have all your original files saved on somebody else's website. So Q has all that stuff saved in there. And I can come back in and say, total meltdown of my PC happened. I didn't have it saved on the cloud. I didn't have it saved on an external hard drive. At least I can come back on here and I can retrieve my files. So it's not gonna have the colorway that you decided on, but it'll at least show you what the original file was, so you can try to remember, all right, I used 1839 red last year. Let's put that on there. So Q Digitizing website, really great. And now you have another file management system here too. Like I said, it's not gonna be as organized as what you have, but you have a good fail safe here. So that's kind of the whole gist of what I do for my file management. I would love to hear what you guys have done over the years and how you organize your files. So comment down below, let me know what you think. And if you have any questions on anything, once again, comment down below and I will try to answer anything that I can. You can also email over at applications@melco.com and we'll get back to you. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great day.